Hello and welcome back to White Lines Football. Lewis again here today for the next episode in the White Lines Football podcast. And today, the transfer window has just closed. It's currently 12:15. The day after the transfer window has closed. So that means an hour and 15 minutes ago, the transfer window slammed shut. A few deals going on, people giving extensions, but officially in England, the transfer window's shut. In other countries, it's still going. But we're going to review a few of the deals. So we've seen the stereotypical podcast, sort of rating every team A to G or whatever. I've got a list of 30 names that we're going to cover, and we're just going to talk a little bit about it, and then we're going to have our sort of the rest of us on it. Everyone here is going to talk about their club and how they feel their own club's transfer window went. So today we are joined by our own Ibrahim. How you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm excellent, thank you. We're joined by Lewis Hart. How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. Kind of, not really. Kind of, yeah.
I'm sure we'll delve into that later on. And finally, we're joined by Ash. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, good.
Nice one. So I think we're going to sort of talk about our own clubs at the end, because I feel there might be a few rants, especially given the clubs certain people in this podcast support. So we're just going to delve into the list of names I've got here. So first of all, we're going to go straight in. We're going to talk about Joe Hart first of all. Obviously, still at Manchester City, didn't have the best of times at Torino. Now gone on loan to West Ham United. Hasn't had the best starts there, but he's still in the England squad. Rumours are he's going to start against Malta. Ibs, do you think this is actually the decline of Joe Hart that we're seeing right now, and he's not going to be that great keeper he once was viewed as anymore?
Well, I feel like the whole point of this loan for him personally is to kind of get answers for that. And for a lot of people, especially for, Southgate and so on in the England squad and so on, and even especially City. I think I think it's a good thing that he's at West Ham, because he's back in the Premier League, so he's going to be facing the opposition that if he was at City, they'd be going up against day in, day out. So, and I think even though Torino was, a spell that was a good opportunity for him to get that, consistent, constant performances and so on, I think being in the Premier League with an opportunity, with opportunities there, I think this is him sort of just making sure he's at the right place to fight his case to ensure he doesn't get the decline. Because there's no question, of course, he is obviously a very talented goalkeeper. He's not the most, he sometimes has his moments which he tries to gloss over and so on, but he's still nonetheless a very good goalkeeper. So I would say it is a good move for him. I think it's good for West Ham. I think it's the answer to that question is we'll have to see some way through his loan to see how his performance goes, because the real test now is how will he fare back in the Premier League.
Yeah, definitely. And another English goalkeeper that's going to be rivaling Joe Hart for that England jersey, Lewis, Jordan Pickford, moved from Sunderland, the relegated Sunderland that he's been at for a very, very long time, gone through the youth ranks, etc. He impressed there, and he got his move to Everton, £30 million. Do you think he's surpassed Joe Hart, and has he proved that given the club he's at now?
I think Joe Hart's. I think it's now for the future really with Pickford and Butland, because if you saw Pickford in the under-21s and him being at Everton, he's only going to get better, and he's already incredible. He's already really good now, and I think he is going to be definitely for sure England's future number one for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in my opinion, I think he should be at the minute. I think he's an excellent keeper, excellent choice in the fantasy football, and I think 30 million could be great value if they can get a good sort of 10 years out of him.
I have to throw it in there. I have to promote your case.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
I've got to go to Ash for this because I know he's a big fan. Another young English talent gone out on loan to Swansea City is Tammy Abraham from Chelsea. Talk to me about Tammy.
He's a rare breed. He will do what you ask of him. He's all types of striker rolled into one. I mean, he can finish. He's got movement. He can play off the shoulder. He can hold the ball up. He can, the likes of Carroll running on. He's a great signing. He needs these minutes in the Premier League if he wants to make it at Chelsea.
Do you see him playing with the returning Wilfred Bonney, or do you think it's one or the other?
I think there is room to play both, but I think
he'll probably go with Bronny alone, to be honest.
Okay, that's interesting. Abraham obviously got his goal early on in the season. We'll see what Paul Clement decides there. So from sort of lowly Premier League to the giants of Europe, of the world, we're going to move to Barcelona. They've brought in Lewis, £37 million. Surprisingly, Paulinho. Talk to me about this transfer.
It wins my award for the most random transfer of the year. I don't really understand it, to be honest. Paulinho, it's a bit confusing. I don't see what he's really gonna add to that Barcelona midfield. He was absolutely awful at Spurs, and it's for 40 mil as well. That's a lot of money. I think it shows how ridiculous these transfer fees are getting if you're paying 40 million for a Spurs reject.
Yeah, literally, like
financial fair play.
Yeah, I was talking about with my friend the other day, another transfer, someone that plays in a very similar position, different country, different sort of not even a different stature of a club, I suppose. I mean, in a way, because it's not quite Barcelona, but someone that's gone for £18 million, probably a much better player, and this is sort of 20 million less. Blaise Matuidi, signed for Juventus, the same sort of player, 18 million, and you're paying out 40 million for Paulinho.
Yeah, I do, because obviously they've got Marquisio, who's aging now. He'll take his place, and I think he's just on his energy and the power. Someone like Arsenal could have done with him. The energy and powerhouse in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain refused to go to Chelsea, refused a new contract at Arsenal, rumours of 180 grand a week, wants to play centre midfield, and to do that he has gone to Liverpool. Ibs, can he get regular game time in centre midfield at Liverpool?
I mean, I think for him he's going to be fine in his case, absolutely. I think he's even... I mean, we've seen him very, very few times in the in centre, and will he play regularly in the centre for Liverpool? I guess so. I think that's obviously the reason why he's gone there. But he believes he can find his place in the starting 11 in the middle, and I do believe he has the opportunity there. But at the same time, I don't really feel like we've seen enough from him to do that.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
I feel like, ironically, I was starting to really warm to him actually on the wing. I know the season he started off, he started awfully, really. But we saw when he's at his best on the wing, he's fantastic. But I don't see him as someone who would do too well in the middle. I think he needs to be on the wing. I feel like he needs to be at a place where he can use his skill and his pace. And I know he's strong and he's quite composed, but I don't think he's at the quality where if he's getting into those rougher matches, especially in against some teams, especially in the Premier League, I feel like he's going to go missing in the middle. I'd do anything to keep him, absolutely. But for him, it's an opportunity he has to take.
Yeah.
To try and fight his case to get in the middle. So yeah, I think for him it makes sense, and for Arsenal even it makes sense really, because we're not going to get the best out of him, and really with our situation we're never even going to end up giving him what he wants, no matter how hard we try right now. Which absolutely pains me to say it, but that is just how it is. So I guess it makes sense for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, from a Liverpool perspective, I think it's a decent signing. I mean, I probably would have liked to see Lamar.
I saw a mixed bag with that though, because some people were saying, "Oh, he's brilliant, welcome aboard."
Yeah.
But other people are looking at the goals he scored or lack thereof for the most part. He's not, but I feel like that's kind of missing the point, because the point of signing someone like him, who is clearly a good, strong English talent with power, with pace, is to put him in the position where he personally believes he's strongest. So it's still a mixed bag, and you've definitely got to wait a couple games. Yeah,
like I say, because Liverpool fans haven't seen that much of him in midfield. I mean, he's played there a couple of times for England, a couple of times for Arsenal, but with the talent Liverpool haven't sent in midfield, like Henderson, Chan, Wijnaldum, Keita coming next year, Lallana, Coutinho, to name a few. Is he going to get an consistently? I'm not sure. He's been promised he's going to play centre midfield / on the wing at Liverpool. Was obviously sick of playing wing back at Arsenal, didn't want to play at Chelsea. So he moved for the better of his career. Like I say, I would have liked to rather have seen Lamar at Liverpool, but Oxlade-Chamberlain's a good signing. Ibs, you said to me on Twitter that you weren't happy with it. Is this because you don't think you got enough for him?
When I look back at it, really, I mean, I wasn't happy with it at the time. I suppose because I believe that if we were to have kept him, I believe he would have had it. I believe he has the quality to be valued at a lot more than that. And it annoys me because the only reason he's going for 35-40 is only because of that contract, because in my opinion he has got the quality to be worth a lot more than that, and especially in this environment where prices are heavily inflated. Premier League, teams are forcing each other to pay extortionately more than they need to. I felt like we could have got a lot more money out of him, really. But when every single person outside of Arsenal, well, actually technically including inside of Arsenal, if you include Alex himself, everyone's trying to force the move, you kind of have to just sort of kind of bite the bullet a little bit with this one. I don't believe 35 was enough. I guess on business standpoint, it's brilliant, I guess, for a guy who's got, no time at all left on his contract. But, I can never be happy with it because if I'm a big fan of him and I believe he's worth a lot more than that.
Okay, fair enough. So someone that I think is guaranteed that's going to play in midfield at their new club is Nemanja Matic. Lewis, I find quite weird that Chelsea, Conte came out and said that he said Matic was going to be a huge loss, and it looks like they're going to replace him as we speak. I don't know if it's gone through yet, but it looks like they're going to replace him with Danny Drinkwater for a similar sort of price. What's the thinking behind this move, selling him to a rival?
It's so stupid. I think Matic is so underrated, and what he does for what he's going to do for Man United is brilliant. And it's a huge, and he won't be. There's no way Drinkwater will be a replacement for him, and I don't know. He's going to be such a huge void to fill. Just him breaking up the play. And it's going to be too. I think what he does is goes heavily unnoticed.
He's a very underrated player.
Yeah, he's a very underrated player, and I think I know who I'd rather have for 40 mil.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think you see what he did at Chelsea next to Kante last season. People saying, why is he playing two defensive players together? You want to play Fabregas in there, but Matic was actually really good going forward as well. And I think even just slotting in that defensive midfield role for Man United, he's got Pogba next to him at the minute, but one expects that Herrera's going to play there as well. He could pass the ball. He's literally completes Manchester United's midfield. They're crying out for a defensive midfielder, and now they've got him. Sticking in Manchester though, Ash, we're gonna move to the blue side. Obviously, we know they've, of course, been busy in the transfer window, as they often are. Guardiola building his own side. One of the key incomings there was Bernardo Silva in from Monaco. Now, I know he's going to be a huge loss to Monaco, but what sort of bonus is he going to be for Manchester City?
He is a loss to Monaco, but I think Monaco will be happy that they've kept Lamar, because I think Lamar's a slightly better player. But
okay.
But he's a great signing for City. He offers something different. He's direct. I don't think they have enough of that. They've got talent, obviously, and they've got players that can unlock defences, but they don't. Other than Sterling, who's not, he's a good player, but he's not. It's just not quite there yet. I think he's direct, and he'll get into their starting lineup soon.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. I like the way he plays. Like you say, very direct. I think it was interesting when you mentioned Sterling, because obviously there's rumours he was going to be part of a deal to Arsenal involving Alexis Sanchez. Where would that have left Sterling if City... Because City went in with a cash bid for Sanchez. If City have got all that attacking talent, they've got the likes of Sané, Sterling, even Silva at times, Bernardo Silva, not getting in a team. If they added Sanchez to that as well, where does that leave Sterling? Because he's probably at the bottom of the pecking order out of that attacking bunch.
Yeah, you probably would be, to be honest. But if you look at the season, he come on and got City the point against Everton. He come on and won City the game at Bournemouth. So the reason why they're doing so well is probably because of Sterling at the moment. But it'd be harsh to have him out of the squad at the moment. But yeah, he out of those players, he is certainly the I wouldn't say worst, because he's not a terrible player. But out of those players, he's probably would be
He's
bottom
favoured.
of the pecking. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, Ibs, we're going to pop back over to the red side of Manchester. Something me and you spoke a little bit about. It's the last podcast 2 weeks ago now, but the last podcast that we had together, we spoke about a little battle between a couple of strikers, and one striker that's moved to Manchester United is, of course, Romelu Lukaku. Talk to me about how good this guy is.
Oh, well, he's really annoying because I had to switch him out of my dream team last minute. Mm-hmm. But he's come out looking like a bit of a complete package, really. I know am I right in saying he missed a penalty recently as well in the last? Yeah. Yeah, I know. So, I mean, we'll just gloss over that really now because, that's a bit of a... I don't really think that's going to happen too often. What's the point? I think after that, they'll probably put someone else on it, really. But, I mean, the guy he's come out and he's relishing the challenge, really. He's coming out and he's getting goals. He's powerful. He's making Man United look so damn dangerous. He's so powerful and quick. He can header. He takes great shots. He's such a threat. And, I came in, I was like, you know what, I still put him in, at that time, I was putting my money on, in that debate, in that previous podcast, I was still putting my money on Harry Kane. Because I thought that, okay, Lukaku, right, even now, he's had a great start and all, but I don't think he's going to maintain it. But now, slowly, more and more looking at the team, looking at the boys behind him, even Matic as well, and so on. When you piece it together, I think Lukaku's going to get that service, and yeah, I think he is just looking so dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. I think
the game.
I'm going to tip him for top goal scorer. I think he's got a head start over Kane now, of course, and yeah, he just looks so dangerous. And I know I said Manchester City, but I think Manchester United are going to come very, very close, if not walk it. Maybe not walk it, but come very close, if not win the league. And yeah, Lukaku's obviously going to be the centre of that. But we'll stay with you, Ibs, here. Someone that he's replaced at Manchester United was a very, very out of favour striker. Yes, I'm not talking about Ibra because I know he's still there, but Wayne Rooney has got his move back to his hometown, Everton. He's retired from international football.
He's doing great, though.
Yeah, he is doing great. Do you think this is a sort of redemption for Rooney? He's sort of got that freedom. He's not got as much expectation now.
I wouldn't call it redemption. I'd say more of like a rejuvenation. I feel like because I wouldn't call this redemption at all. Redemption puts a bit of a sinister taste on it. It's more really at the moment at United he wasn't favoured, and I'd say for good reason. I think with the current squad they're going, I just think he's slightly pushing himself towards surplus for requirements in that squad with all these new boys going in. And that just doesn't do him any justice. So going back to the only club he'd ever want to go back to, and first game in he does a typical Rooney, fantastic, absolute screamer, and now he's setting himself there, and I think it's given him a new lease of life. Really, he's back somewhere where he feels so comfortable. He's warmed to the place immediately. They've warmed to him for obvious reasons because he stayed so loyal to that place, even after all those years, giving service to another club. So I feel like for Wayne, this is the absolutely perfect place for him to just see out his final, one or two seasons, I guess. For the remainder of his career, this is the best place for him. And I think he's relishing that, really. So I'd say it's brilliant for him. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that he retired from international football because Southgate said he was in line for an England recall. There probably would have been controversy around that. So now I think he can just sort of settle down. We'll go to Ibs, pick a country, Italy or France?
I say Italy. We'll go to France afterwards, obviously.
Okay, we'll go to Italy. Lewis, then. For me, maybe signing of the summer, based on who the player is and the value. From Juventus, part of that incredible back three, that Italian back three. Leonardo Bonucci happened earlier on the window, almost forgotten about now. Signed for AC Milan, the sort of rejuvenated AC Milan, £37 million. Is this the signing of the summer for you?
One of them, definitely. He has got everything you want as a centre half. He's relatively quick. He can play the ball. He's a hard man. He's that back three was an absolute wall, and he he's a massive part. He's a massive part of that wall, and I think I know it's 35 million pounds, whatever it was, but he's still by his standards, by all the transfers, that is a bargain. Honestly, I think he's a fantastic footballer, and he's everything you could ask from a centre half.
Yeah, I think he's still got a good 4 years at the top of his game as well. So that's, for me, that's a very, very good signing. We'll stay in Italy if I can find someone. Ash, we'll talk about Milan still because they've had a busy window. One of the main, if not the main, obviously with Bonucci, incomings is Andre Silva. £34 million. Tell me what you think of that one.
Well, it's certainly a good signing. I mean, Ronaldo said that when he retires, Portugal will be in good hands because they've got Andre Silva. I think that speaks for itself. I think at the moment he's being kept out the team by a young lad that have come through their youth system. Patrick Catone. He looks only 18, I believe. He looks a good player. He scored 2 and 2 now, and obviously he's keeping him. He will get into the 11 regularly eventually because he's too good of a player to be kept out. But yeah, no, it's definitely a good player. He's young as well.
Yeah,
great value.
Yeah, definitely for them moving forward. And we'll stay with you, Ash, here for the final AC Milan signing we're going to talk about. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, obviously we know he's got a very good free kick, very good on Football Manager as well. What's he like in real life, and is he going to play regularly for Milan, do you reckon?
To be honest, I don't watch much Bundesliga, but yes, he's a great dead ball specialist. I don't know if he'll keep his place. I think he's flattered to the team so far, but we're only like 2 games into the season, so it's hard to judge. But he's certainly a talent.
Yeah, a bit of a Tecorista player. I mean, he's very, very good with the ball. Can play all across the front 3, 4 if you like. And yeah, I think that's a good signing. So we'll go to France now, and this is where it's all gone down. I did a video on this myself. Ibs, talk to me about the most expensive player of all time, Neymar.
Well, what do you really need to say? I mean, it's quite funny. It's like how Barca have gone about him when now he's moved to PSG. It's like they're trying to like roast their ex-girlfriend or something, trying to sue him and all this and all that stuff. Now he's gone to PSG. Fantastic signing, fantastic move, fantastic opportunity to escape a bit of the BS. I'm tempted to say. I think it's his opportunity now, because he wants to be the best in the world. Let's face it. He wants to be that guy who is now a star. He knows he's got the ability. He's so fast. He's a real fighter. He's got fantastic shot, skill, everything. I don't really need to talk about his ability in itself, because there's nothing I can say that people don't know about him. I just think for him, it's almost a completely new start for him in a way. Because I mean, for so much of his career, all his career in the limelight has been in Spain, been at Barca really. Of course with Brazil as well. But so now coming to a completely new scene. Where he's going to be adored, more than anyone in that club, and he can be that main man. It does give him the opportunity to, let's say, fight for that Ballon d'Or and so on, and help PSG as well, because they want to be that club that is recognised, for maybe going and actually saying, let's go be champions of Europe. That this guy, if you want anyone to be in that position, the best person to get, you get Neymar. You don't replace Neymar with someone better, because if you want someone better than Neymar, you get Neymar. So this is fantastic for PSG, and if you look at the squad they've got at the moment, it's still absolutely fantastic team, bags of talent. So this is a real step up for PSG.
Sort of said about I made my own video about this, about the reasons how Barcelona are going to replace him. Obviously I've done that now, as we know. I'll leave the link to that in the description. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people say it's for money. In my opinion, it's not for money. I think he wants to go win the Ballon d'Or. The limelight's not Messi anymore. He's not playing second fiddle. He wants to win the Ballon d'Or. It's well respected in Brazil. That's what he wants to do. And I think for a long time we're not going to see that £198 million topped. Someone that's come quite close to it, Lewis, is today. joined PSG on loan. Kylian Mbappe. Now, there's a lot of speculation about this kid. 19 years old. Is he going to Barcelona? Is he going to Real Madrid? Is he going to Liverpool, Arsenal? He's not. He's gone.
Arsenal.
He's gone to PSG on loan with a future fee of £168 million. Him and Neymar together. That's frightening, isn't it?
Yeah, that is quite frightening. But I'm sure for a teenager, it's a lot of. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. Everyone for that kind of money for a teenager is going to be. But I'm sure he'll be able to live up to that price tag. I think that attack is definitely frightening. And why not? Why can't PSG go and become champions win the Champions League with this squad? They've got such an attacking force, and they've got strength in all areas, and I don't see why not they can't go all the way and win the Champions League. And they didn't win the Liga last season, so and they've massively strengthened to help them make sure that they do win it this year.
They've made their rivals weaker, of course, as well. So.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I think PSG is sort of nailed on for the league title.
And he's also stayed in the same league. Like, I wish he went somewhere else, but oh well.
Yeah, I feel like he would have fitted in perfectly at Real Madrid, actually. But with Ronaldo sort of transition to the number 9, if Mbappe wants to do that, then that's fine. But yeah, he supported PSG as a kid. He wanted to go to PSG. He's at PSG. Another player that wants to, or is going to have to try and live up to his price tag, Ash, is Ousmane Dembele. He sort of was a bit of a loose cannon in the transfer, but he got it done. We know he can't do kick-ups, but can he play football?
Yes. Similarly to Mbappe, I think the fee could rise to 140 million or something like that. I think there's a lot of expectation and pressure on a young boy's shoulders, really. But I think he can live up to it as well. He's a talented boy. I think if you're going to replace, obviously, Ib said that you don't really replace Neymar, but if you're going to replace him with someone, you want someone like Dembele.
Do you think Dembele's normally played on the right for Dortmund, but that's where Messi plays for Barcelona? Do you think he's just going to go straight onto the left, or do you think it's a change of formation?
No, I think you probably will go straight onto the left. I don't think you want to upset Messi.
Especially at this stage, yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if you can adapt to playing on the left. It'd be a good one.
Yeah, it will be an interesting season because Barcelona's 11 is actually very, very good. And staying with you, Ash, someone that has come into that Barcelona 11 or is going to do well in the future there, I'm assuming they struggled there for a while. Nelson Semedo has come in at right back, £27 million from Benfica. And for me, that's an excellent signing. They've solved their problems, haven't they, at right back?
Yeah, I think so. They struggled at right back for so long. I mean, they had Sergio Roberto there for a while, who's probably a central midfielder, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's powerful. He can get forward. He can defend. He's quite young himself as well, early 20s. Yeah, I think they've sorted their right back situation out for the next few years for sure.
Yeah, class. I'm a big fan of his, and another right back I'm a big fan of. Ibs, we'll come to you. We can talk about your good friends Tottenham Hotspur, who for £23 million have signed Sergio Aurier. Now we know about his personal problems. I think he punched a police officer or something like that. Couldn't play against Arsenal in the Champions League for PSG. But as a footballer, he's a good signing, especially for £23 million.
Yeah. I mean, for £23 million, you got a little bit of a bargain with this guy. I mean, I don't know how to say bargain as such. But he's a good player from my approach. He's got a lot of quality for him. For that price, if he comes in and he warms, then he's got a lot of time ahead of him. So I think he brings another level of quality to the side. A bit more solidarity as well. And he's a bit I say solidarity. He's a bit as you said, loose cannon, can be a bit of a loose cannon. But I think with a very fighting squad. Like Tottenham, I think he's going to be a little bit at home. Really, I think he's going to do another step up for Tottenham to boost themselves even, far beyond even Arsenal in particular right now. In fact, let's face it, even Swansea could do that right now. I think it's just a good opportunity for them, and it's a good. It's probably the best move for him, really. Helps him establish himself as well. It's a great place to be. Great team to move to be in the Premier League as well for him. So I think this is a good opportunity for him. He's got a good career. I think it's a surprisingly good price when you put all things considered. So I think it's good. I think it's good for him.
I mean, maybe his off the field antics do play a role in his price, but yeah, like you say, if he stays sort of composed and stays calm, then he's going to be a very, very good signing for Tottenham for that price. Sort of maybe rivaling Tottenham to move into the top 6 is Everton, and we know what business they've done. We spoke about Rooney, we spoke a little bit about Pickford as well, Lewis, and they've sort of changed a lot this summer. Another player they've brought in, rumoured to go to Chelsea. I think it's a cracking signing. I've seen him live against Lithuania. Michael Keane played excellently next to John Stones. He completely outshone John Stones. Is this a massive signing for Everton? Because I've seen some people say it's a temporary thing, or do you think this is sort of a long-term target to help them break into that top 6?
I'm so excited with Everton this year, and they've got a lot of young talent as well. They've got a mixture, really. They've got the Sandro as well, and Sandro's got nothing to lose. He had a good goal scoring record at Malaga, and he's came in on the cheap as well. And the same with Michael Keane, and even in the games against the Hajduk Split or whatever their name is, he showed a lot of composure, and he's just got all the credentials and to be a top centre half. And I think I'm really looking forward to seeing I this season, because I thought he was brilliant at Burnley last season.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was an integral part of that back four. And since you're excited about Everton, might as well stay with you, stay on Everton. Someone that's maybe been questioned for the price, is a saga that went on for a long time. Gylfi Sigurdsson's come in. I think it's a decent sign, to be fair. He's a very, very good set-piece taker, we know that, but he does offer a bit more as well. 45 million, is it going to be worth it, or is that a little bit too much?
I think he is worth it, because other things you've got to look into the price is because how important he was to that Swansea side. He pretty much kept them up. Without Sigurdsson, I don't think they'd be in the Premier League this season. So I think Everton they would only sell it. So Swansea were only going to sell Sigurdsson for the right price, and I think he is worth 45 million.
Yeah, that is massive for Swansea, isn't it? We're going to leave the Premier League for a little bit. Lewis and Ibs, you're welcome to stay at home. Ash, we're going to take a little flight to Germany. 2 main clubs in Germany.
That is the worst transition I've ever had in my life, and I'm disgusted with you. I'm disgusted.
Anyway, yeah, Bayern Munich. James Rodriguez on a 2-year loan deal. Do you think this is maybe a bit of a mess signing because he's out of favour at Real Madrid? You sort of want the best players, you don't want the Madrid rejects in a way. Or do you think he can just sort of rejuvenate his career?
I think he can play his way. I think he can play his way back into the Madrid squad.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think he's a good player. He's a talented player. He needs to be playing. Players like that can't stagnate at clubs like Madrid. They have to go out and play.
Yeah.
They have to go out and play. I don't know. They've got Asensio, haven't they, Madrid, who's an unbelievable player. So maybe he can't play his way back. I don't know. He's definitely got the ability to play his way back in.
Yeah, I think he does have to impress at Munich. But Munich's main rival is, of course, Dortmund. They've got a very talented midfielder themselves this window. Would have been nice to see him at Liverpool, even in the Premier League at all. Dahoud, £10 million, a very good young German midfielder. Do you think he can be a very good value for money?
I think he deserves the step up. I've seen him a few times for the German youth side. He's definitely a talented player.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign. It would have been really nice to see him at Liverpool. Obviously, that hasn't happened. Yeah, it would have been great. He's very good on the ball. Good defensively and attacking. Sort of like Keita, so I'm not too fussed because obviously Keita's a massive signing. But yeah, Dahoud, £10 million, absolute bargain, and he can hopefully have a very good future at Dortmund. So we're just going to wrap up Europe now before we move back to finish on the Premier League. And we're going to stay with you again, Ash. Monaco obviously had a lot of outs, but one player they brought in was Tielemans for £23 million. And for Bakayoko, who's gone out, we'll talk about him soon, that's a decent enough replacement, isn't it?
For sure. I think he offers a bit more than Bakayoko as well, going forward.
Yeah, like you say, he does have a bit more to him than Bakayoko. He did come a lot cheaper, obviously not in the Premier League, so prices aren't as inflated, but Monaco fans are buzzing, football fans are buzzing to see him there, and I'm sure he will do well at Monaco. So finally, we're going to wrap up the signings in England. We've got a few more to go through. We spoke about Bakayoko actually, Lewis. £36 million. Maybe a replacement for Matic, probably for Fabregas. It doesn't seem like a decent signing to me, but what's your views on it?
I don't think he's going to be on par with Matic, or he's going to be a replacement for him. But I'm not really sure. Maybe him and Kante could work well. I hope it works well, because I don't know. I've spoken to a few people who like French football, and they've told that he's a really good player. On Twitter, like French football experts and stuff like that, and they said that he'd be a player like Matic and that break up play, drive forward. But I'm not sure if he'll be exactly like Matic, or I'm not sure if the price is. I'm not sure if he's worth 36 mil.
Ibs, you got anything you want to add on Bakayoko to Chelsea?
Not really. I think I've actually seen a little bit of that myself. I can't remember where it was. I think it was on Twitter, but I can't remember who it was said it. But I think it's a bit tricky, really, to say. I'm leaning towards probably not going to be of the same caliber, really, that they want. And of course, he is obviously unproven in this environment. So I'd remain skeptical myself as well, for literally the same reasons that Lewis said.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. It is a lot of money. It's a bit of a surprising transfer, but we know people behind the scenes at Chelsea and nutters. Talk to me about Morata then, Ibs. He's had a decent start to life in London. Missed the penalty in the Community Shield, but we'll forget about that. Got a couple of goals, a couple of assists. £70 million though.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot of money. But there is a lot of talent in him as well. My personal opinion really is that he clearly has got a hell of a lot of talent, and he's got a lot of energy, and he's got the right movement as well to unlock defence as well. He just, if he gets the right service. I personally, in my opinion, I don't think he's the most. I wouldn't personally have valued him at 70 million. Even though he's extremely talented and he's quick, and the skill he's got as well, he can be that guy to make. He can be a bit of a game changer on the day. So I think he's warmed in well. I think, but Chelsea need to. I think at the moment they're having a bit of a slow start into the new season with him. Not with him rather, but in general. So I think with time, I think he's going to get more and more of his talent's going to come through, especially because he has got that ability when he's getting the service to be extremely dangerous. So yeah. I think with time he's going to come extremely, extremely good.
You think you'd rather have Morata over Costa at this moment? Because obviously Costa didn't get his move. Don't know what's going on with him. He's going to move to Atletico in January.
Right now, I feel like you have to have Morata over Costa. Right now, I think Morata brings a new lease of life. I think brings a lot more energy right now, and I think the problem with Costa right now is I think it would just be a little bit too hostile, really trying to keep him as this new main guy again, like he has been in the past, because of so much that's gone on. Even though Diego, if he was to come back, I could almost guarantee the first game he comes back, if he was to, get consistent and stuff again, he's still the limelight immediately for a while at least. I think for the long run, Morata's got to be the man who is favoured, who is given that time, because I think Diego, I think after everything that's happened, Diego's got to sort of be put to the side now. I think it's just too difficult keeping him.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable that he's going to go to Atletico Madrid in January, but just probably going to rot until then, but who cares? A striker that hasn't gone for so much money, maybe in wages, but not in terms of a cash fee. Lewis, Jermaine Defoe has gone to Bournemouth. He sat out the first couple of games, been on the bench. I'm a bit torn about this. I don't overall think it's a good signing because of the wages he's on, because of the length of his contract. But yeah, a free transfer, going back to Bournemouth. He solved their striking problem, surely. Not that they have problems anyway, but he solves their striking area.
With Defoe, I think, as you said, I'm really torn with it as well, because he's old and he's gone quite a long on his contract, and I think I don't think he'll replicate the form he's got at Sunderland, but he's on. It's a really hard one to say. Because I think he is a proven goal scorer, but I don't think he's going to get more than 10. I don't know. Because
I'd be surprised if he got 10 behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm really torn about it.
So I'm going to come to you, Ash, about the player that probably rivals Bonucci for the signing of the summer. No, it's not Billy Bingham. We're talking about Renato Sanchez. Joining Swansea on loan, linked with Europe's top clubs. I think they're paying a £2 million loan fee. Paul Clement's links have really helped him out here. Struggled at Bayern Munich quite a bit. Are we going to see him sort of rise to his potential at Swansea City?
I hope so. Because he's a talented player. The Premier League needs players like that. But it's, he's at Swansea, so automatically it's a coup for them. So automatically he's going to be the main man. So will he like try? It's a tough. It's similar to Defoe. It's tough. He's definitely a talented player, but at Swansea he's going to be his place is going to be in 11 is going to be comfortable week on week. Will he put the effort in? I hope he does. I hope he shows his full potential.
Yeah. I hope he does. I mean, at the Euros, he looked unreal. Young player of the tournament, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
I think one thing about if you're going to a player with his talent and his profile, going to a team like Swansea, I feel like naturally, and I know maybe it's a risky call to make, but I feel like they're going to have to start to play around him, which means hopefully it's an opportunity for him to just go out there and just express himself. Because if they know what his skill set is. And it's not like when you go to Bayern, because it's at Bayern he's kind of strangled because everyone around him is insanely talented. But when you're someone of his quality at a team like Swansea, no disrespect towards Swansea, but obviously they're not Bayern, they're not that kind of quality, they're obviously not that quality. So he is going in there as immediately being like, look, he's not going to be saying this, but he would have that profile as, arguably almost most definitely the best person there, really. And with his speed, his power, his skill, his movement, everything he did, especially at the Euros, being young player of the Euros as well. I personally think he's going to shine immediately, because I feel like they have to play him where he's strongest and just say to him, do your thing, and we're going to have to work for what you can do, because we know what you're able to do. It's not like going into other clubs where they've already got players around who are established, who are better than him in track record, where he has to fit in for them. I feel like he's going to a club who will let him do his thing.
Yeah, and he's definitely, probably for me, more or less a direct replacement for Sigurdsson. He's going to be that midfielder that's guaranteed in the 11 every week. Yeah. And they've got him for a year for 2 million, where they've just got 45 million in for Sigurdsson. But yeah, another player probably maybe joining a club that's probably, I think it's fair to say, below his standards. Lewis, Javier Hernandez. West Ham are in a bit of turmoil at the minute with the owners, with the management, with the way they're playing. But he's one shining light. £16 million. He's going to get them goals, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a player I really, really rate, and I think if I'm not, I know that it's really early, but if West Ham do find themselves in a relegation battle, I think he is one of those players that could probably single-handedly keep them up with his goals, because he's a poacher. He knows where the goal is, and for £16 million, it's an absolute steal.
Yeah,
he's got the right instinct. He's got a lot of talent. He's definitely got that striker's, attacking instinct to put them in. So yeah, I think he's a bit of a saving grace for them.
I think if they even wanted to go down that route, him and Carroll could be excellent together. But yeah, we're gonna, just because I got laughed at earlier, Ash, we'll pack our bags. We're gonna go to Manchester together, mate. We're gonna wrap it up here.
Oh my God, round 2 of what are you doing?
Manchester City needed themselves a couple of fullbacks. They brought in Danilo. We'll skip over him. They brought in Kyle Walker. They brought in Benjamin Mendy. You can pick, Ash. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's go Walker.
Okay, Kyle Walker, £50 million. Probably England's number 1 right back. Breaking news: Vincent Janssen has turned down a move to Brighton. Anyway.
Wow.
Hardly surprising.
Yeah. Anyway. 50 million for Walker. They needed a right back in. They've got Danilo. They've got Walker. Decent money or overpriced?
Walker's certainly overpriced.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think Trippier's the better player.
Yeah.
Definitely. He's not a horrendous player, but he's so frustrating. He's so powerful, so quick, and he's afforded so much space. And he does nothing with it, attacking wise anyway.
Do you not think?
Defending wise, he's okay, but when it comes up against pace, he struggled against players like Zaha last season. Maybe he'll suit City better. I think he might have needed the move.
Yeah, because we know how much, obviously, Pochettino likes his fullbacks, with Rose and Walker bombing on forward last season, but the way Pep likes his fullbacks differently, and the way how much he values them in his system, do you not think he can help him develop to that next level that the potential he clearly has?
Yeah, I think that's probably the main factor in the move, to be honest.
Yeah.
The fact that he could take him on to might actually get more, no disrespect to Spurs, but he might actually get more game time in the Champions League as well.
And probably more money, but also a lot of money.
So cynical.
The final guy we're going to cover, obviously, the likes of Ake, Salah. We've covered before on the channel. Go check out the videos. They've been covered. Lacazette, of course. Ibs did his video on that. But Benjamin Mendy, for me, probably, apart from Marcelo and Jordi Alba, maybe even surpassing Alba, Benjamin Mendy is probably the best left back in Europe for me. Would have fit in perfect in Man United, I think. But Man City have got him £49 million. I think they're sorted in the full-back area, it's fair to say, isn't it, Ash?
Yeah. I think he's certainly the best left back in France.
Yeah.
For sure. Again, Pep will love it. He's quick. He can put a ball in the box for your Aguero's and your Jesus's to finish. He can defend. He's a powerful lad. Young as well. It's great value as well.
Yeah. Lewis, do you just want to add on to the Manchester City fullback situation? They're sorted now, and they, do you think?
Well, they struggled. They I think last in the past few years, you looked at their fullbacks and they're a bit uninspiring, to be honest. But now you look at them, they've got pace, power, good crossing, like with Walker, Danilo, and Mendy. So yeah, I think I'm glad that they've actually got some half decent fullbacks.
Yeah, nice one. So that is actually our individual player review wrapped up. So now we're going to move on to talk about our clubs and how we feel they've done in the transfer window. Me and Lewis are Gillingham fans, so we'll cover that last. We'll get into probably a little bit of a debate. I'm sure we're both going to be a bit unhappy about what's going on, but we'll get into that. Ibs, an Arsenal fan, you've seen the videos on the channel, and Ash, if you didn't know, is a QPR fan. So Ash, we'll start with you. Talk to us about QPR's transfer business this window.
I think we've done okay. Picking up Josh Scowen on a free, I think is brilliant business. But keeping Smithy, he's easily the best keeper in the Football League. I think that's probably our best signing, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we had like the third or fourth worst defence last season.
Okay.
I don't think we've added enough defenders. We've added a couple, but not enough. Alex Baptiste's come in. I think he's experienced. He knows Holloway, so he'll slot in nicely. But I think we needed more at the back because we haven't really done enough to rectify a terrible defence. We brought in David Wheeler, the sort of players that I think we should have gone for ages ago. He's come from non-league, picked up by Exeter a few years ago. 21 goals last season from out wide. Broke the record for goals in consecutive games. I mean, it's a great pickup. I'm excited by this one.
So you say you're a bit short in defence. What sort of areas and do you think you're going to struggle again then defensively?
Set pieces for sure.
Yeah.
We've struggled with defending set pieces for some time. I don't think that's going to improve because, like I said, we've got pretty much the same defence. So I can't see that improving. Like I said, we got back to TC. He's experienced. He could be a bit of a leader. Our captain's a problem. I mean, Anula can have a good game. He can be strong, but he's not captain material. He's not. He's a poor leader. He's not the right man for the job. He's probably not vocal enough. Fullbacks. I mean, I think playing we started to play three at the back, which is probably the way forward.
Unless you're Gillingham, carry on.
Because if we do make mistakes, there's cover there, and obviously our fullbacks in a 4 always too narrow, affording the opposition wingers so much time and space. So in a 3, that's not an issue, because the fullbacks are our wing backs. So that's being narrow is not an issue. So that's seen a little bit of an improvement. Grant Hall's been injured; he's back off the international break, which is a big plus.
What about the outgoings then? Like you mentioned, you keep Smithies. Is there anyone that's gone out that you sort of wish we kept them, and have you replaced them?
Not really. We let Nasser go. He did really well last season on loan in Holland. I mean, he's not out of the players that we've got. He's not one that we should have sold. I mean, we think he did enough to deserve another chance. But also, we brought in David Whelan now, and I don't know if it's gone through, but we're supposedly bringing in Bright Samuel from Blackpool as well. So I think he's been replaced adequately. So it's not banged up when players meant they had to go.
Yeah. So do you feel like you've had a bit of an efficient clear out then?
Yeah. There's one or two that haven't gone. Jet well, you had him alone last season.
Oh God, yeah.
He's one that we still got. Yeah, he's one we still got. Yeah, he's out of contract next summer.
Yeah, he's out of contract. Yeah.
Yeah, so next summer. So we've got him this season. Didn't manage to get rid of him, I'm afraid.
Wonder why. Anyway. Yeah. So QPR have had a decent start. As far as I'm aware, they're just outside the playoffs. I think I'm right in saying.
Yeah, we have had a good start. Yeah.
I've been looking at, because I think many tipped QPR to go down under Holloway. I've been looking at the scores, at games, thinking, QPR are winning. Like, do you think? I know you're very Holloway out, but is he sort of turning your head a bit?
I wouldn't say I'm Holloway. I'm not a fan of him as a manager, but yeah, I think some of the decisions he's making have been, changing to a 3 at the back is a smart decision. Fair play to people seeing that. He's played Hall at centre back, at the central defensive role in midfield. Fair play for having the steel to be able to make a decision like that. So, some of the things he's done, he's got players like Gladwin out of the club. So some of the things he's done has been okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's still a long way to go. We started last season really well and ended up struggling, so
yeah.
I don't know.
Fair enough. We'll see how it plays out, but overall, sounds like an okay summer at QPR. We'll move on to Arsenal now with Ibs. You're probably not happy with what's gone on. In terms of ins, Lacazette sticks out. Maybe a couple more. Didn't manage to get Lamar over the line.
The Lamar thing. Look, the moment I'm actually going to find a text I sent to my brother to talk about the Lamar thing. To basically sum up, literally I sent this, and he said, "Where has it gone?" I said to him, "Arsenal just bid 92 million for Lamar." In exclamation marks, with a little bit of excitement. His reply were 3 separate messages. First of all, Jesus, like Jesus. Second of all, desperation time. And then third of all, most expensive panic buy you'll ever see.
Yeah. That's
all it really was. I mean, let's face it, in truth, all that was a desperate panic buy attempt for Lamar. I mean, 92 million. We were going through a phase where, briefly, we were all asking, we're like, where's all this money gone? We were told that we had this £200 million buffer that we had to spend, and we actually last year we were positive in our we made profit on everything, and then suddenly we're acting like we've got no money. So that's all of a sudden where the money came from, with 92 million for Lamar. So look, this has been a shambles for Arsenal, to put it bluntly. Lamar was never going to really happen. Would I have accepted him? Of course I would have. I needed him desperately, but it's just desperation really because of how awfully things have gone. We've got Sanchez, the main man. I don't even think he's the main man anymore. I think he's just so average right now. He's not motivated. He doesn't want to be there. He was against Liverpool. He basically wasn't on the pitch. So I mean, if he went, he went. But I don't think he's going to be that great even sticking around. Really. I mean, we had at the start of the transfer window, would you believe it? All of us boys at Arsenal, us fans, as always, had our hopes up, because guess what? We just won the FA Cup. We'd obviously won the FA Cup from last season. We then win the Community Shield, and we're going, boys, this is looking good. And then we get Kolasinac, the best left back in the Bundesliga. We're going, boys, this ain't bad. We've got Lacazette, boys. This is really not bad at all. And then we start sifting away at the boys who don't need to be there. Kieran Gibbs, fantastic, loyal, honest, hard worker, dedicated man, but he's not the quality we need. He's gone to West Brom. Fair enough. Wish him the best of luck, but he doesn't belong at Arsenal anymore. Good move. Joel Campbell, I don't even know where he's on. He's on another loan.
Perez.
Perez feels so bad for that guy. But to be honest, in our situation, I would quite like to have actually kept Perez. But he's on a loan back to Deportivo for a little bit. I guess it makes sense. So in some ways the headlines weren't that bad, but then just the team looks so unbalanced. There's Mustafi, we were all set for him to suddenly disappear, and we were thinking, what's this about? After losing 4-0 and how badly the season started for us, we're thinking we need a solid back line. And all of a sudden we're saying we're getting rid of Mustafi, and now last minute we hear that he's remaining, and we're thinking there's no conclusive piece of information. We just don't know what's going on with that club. We don't know what's going on with the transfers. The transfer window's open, but half the time I can't even think whether a player stayed or left. Ox is now gone. We can't really replace him immediately. We have to wait all the way till January for that. That's not going to happen anytime soon, obviously. The club's got some serious issues. We've got some serious issues. This transfer window, at the beginning, looked extremely promising. Nice early transfers. We're thinking this is good. Sifting away people that we didn't really need. But then, we've declined so much. All the people that we've started to get rid of, we're actually thinking, we kind of really need them back now. And I'm looking at the squad now, and I'm thinking, this is painful. This is really genuinely painful, and I think Arsenal have been the biggest losers of this transfer window, because we're probably positive still in our budgets, and probably got 100 million, 150 million, I'm going to guess it now, at least, still to spend. We've got some of the richest owners in the world. We've got one of our owners is the second richest man in the country, and we're acting like we've got no money, and the only time we try to spend the money is on a guy in desperation who can't sign. So, yeah, bad.
Yeah, very, very bad. You've basically covered everything there. Just a couple of things. I could
go on for a year.
Just a couple of things I want to touch on myself. You say about Lamar with your brother being a panic buy. Arsenal obviously linked with him for a while. They decided he wasn't worth 52 million earlier on, and now they're lashing out 92 million at the last minute. And to lash out that amount of money at this time reeks desperation.
Is literally just the most insulting thing. I looked at that. I was like, I can't explain it, but when you hear that Arsenal have spent 92 million, or are prepared to spend 92 million pounds, and Arsenal will be like, yeah, this is great. But what does it tell you when you see that and you go, and an Arsenal fan goes, oh my God, what are we doing? You can just tell something is very, very wrong when what we've been crying out for so long actually speaks in a negative light. What does that tell you about the club? It's disgusting.
Yeah, Arsenal have had an awful start to the season defensively. Obviously, got dicked by Liverpool 4-0 at the weekend, and they've sold defenders in terms of Gabriel Gibbs.
Gabriel, oh my god! I mean, he's not that great, but come on, man, what have we got left? Oh.
It's good. I think it's good. Chambers didn't go to Leicester today. Obviously, they rejected the bid today. Yeah, I think we can understand the frustration. Do you think? I mean, I hate to say it, especially for you. Do you think other clubs outside of look past the top four to start off with, and then you look past maybe the Liverpools, the Spurs, look past Everton? Do you think the clubs past Everton could maybe start to challenge Arsenal? Because I look at that Arsenal team, it's not got that much quality. It's poor defensively. I look at the manager, he's not motivating anyone anytime soon. You look at other clubs, West Brom, Southampton, pushing forward. Are other clubs going to challenge Arsenal, or do you think they're still okay to beat them sort of clubs in the table?
I think the team is so unstable right now. I mean, it for brief moments, like, you know, I thought we'd bounce up from last season. I thought it was going to be our worst season ever. I'm going to move on, and now we've got two formations. We've got the 4-4-2 standard, and so now we've got this 3-5-2. We've got two formations. We've got a change of tactics. It's going to be all right. We'll switch the play up depending on what team we face, because the thing with Arsenal is, you know, the reason why we're not getting the wins against the teams who we should be beating is because we're so predictable. Even the basic teams were able to beat us, and then we change things up, and suddenly you're going, yeah, okay, now the smaller teams won't be, but the bigger teams will be able to still do their thing, but the smaller teams, they'll have a lot more to worry about, new formation, more talent and so on. But we seem, especially after Liverpool, and look, losing to Stoke, we look like such a clueless team. We have no shape, we have no composure, we have no real fight. Let's face it. I mean, that goal Stoke scored. Who was it? I can't remember who was scored for us.
Jesse Rodriguez.
Yeah. He walked past us. He could have read a book before someone came and tackled him. That guy strolled into our box and placed that. Fantastic goal for starters, but absolutely by Arsenal. We can honestly, Brighton are looking at us right now. It's an easy 3 points. I'm saying now, you can look. Literally, Gills are saying, "Why aren't we in the Premier League?" And we've got these scrubs up there. It's so bad because we've actually, this is probably the best way to say it. Arsenal were in the Champions League, looking to play Champions League quality, a squad that is quality, has the quality to play in the Champions League to a certain degree. Now we've come down to the Europa League, and it seems like we've just made a club who are only capable of playing in the Europa League. If we were in the Champions League next season with this squad, we wouldn't make it past group stage. We're that bad. It's, all the small teams in Premier League, they can have us. Take it. It's like speeding tickets. Just take the 3 points and go.
So, in a word, bad. I'd love to let you ramble on forever, but we've got to go on to talk about Gillingham. Lewis, I know you said to me before the podcast, you've got a few things to say. I'm going to let you talk, mate. Off you go.
So, if we're going to talk about signing...
Let me get my popcorn. And my tickets.
So we're going to get... I'll start from defensive signings. As I like to call them, Pizza Express footballers, Luke O'Neill and Billy Bingham. They are they don't disappoint. Just consistent. I'm happy with them. Start happy with Zakwani, Lacey. But Pennick said he wanted leaders. So tell me why you decide to get rid of Josh Wright and Cody McDonald and try to force through Stuart Nelson. And he also wants people, he says, I want people that care about Gillingham Football Club. Then why are you trying to get rid of those three? And why have where you've got rid of both of them and you're trying to push through out for the Nelson? He just thinks he is so good, and if you don't, and he's like got this mentality. If you don't get on with me, then get out. Honestly, he has got the worst man management of someone I've ever seen at Gillingham Football Club. Honestly, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking.
How does a player fall out about not being in the team and end up getting released?
Exactly. Honestly. I just feel like having a breakdown.
Get in line.
There is so. His man management is so poor, and he does not know. He does not know how to deal with big names.
But I think talk about defensive signings and pushing players out of the club. Obviously, Tom Hadley's gone out on loan. That's understandable. Thomas Holy's there in goal. Stuart Nelson's there. He's got another year on his deal. Pennock brought him in for the last game of the season. And he brings in Steve Arnold from Dover to put in goal. What do you make of that one?
I've got to say, Steve Arnold on Tuesday was actually really impressive. He broke his nose as well.
Yeah.
But I was quite impressed with him. He doesn't seem like that much of a backup, but I know Nelson. I know he cares about the club, but he's not really good enough anymore.
I think it's interesting. I know Nelson said some stuff. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want it to get back to anyone, because I know he's not said it officially. But I don't think Nelson was brought in last game of the season. Nelson's your number one. You want to stay in the league, you need a clean sheet. Nelson gets his clean sheet. We stay in the league against Northampton. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Nelson comes in over Thomas Holy, over Thomas Hadler. Nelson's in. He's your number one. Keeps clean sheet. Does all right. He's not up to it to be the number one anymore. I'd argue. He's 36. Got a year left. He's probably going to retire. But does that mean it's a personal thing rather than an ability thing? Because when we need to stay in this league to save Pennock's career as a Football League manager, he's brought in Stuart Nelson, and now he's fourth choice goalkeeper at Gillingham.
It's hard because I do think it could be a personal thing maybe, and it looks more like it would be a personal thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And you can tell they've fallen out because if you're gonna chuck him in to stay in the league, and now he's all of a sudden fourth choice goalkeeper, so clearly something's happened there.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a shambles, but overall, defensively, I think we're all right. You know, Zakawani's been excellent.
Yeah,
signing.
I think we are defensively. We are actually really good defensively. I think if we go 1-0 up, we've got a good chance of winning the game because last season we could not hold the lead.
Yeah, you could not say that at all.
Yeah, you could say that. But this season actually looks like we can actually grind out a result.
Yeah, like you say, we've got Luke O'Neill can play right wing back, right back, centre back. Same as Conor Ogilvie, although I'm not a fan of either wing back. But hopefully that's in the bin now.
Yeah, certainly.
Bradley Garms when he's fit, and then you've got, of course, Zakawani, Lacey, Nugent, Amar. We don't know my views about him, but Max Amar. Finn O'Mara, centre back still. You've got Aaron Simpson as well. It's pretty decent defensive setup compared to last season. Midfield wise, Billy Bingham's come in, done excellently there. Of course, you've got Ben Chapman. Yeah, Bingham's done well though, sitting in front of the back four, back five, whatever you want to play. But because I think that was needed, something we missed, so ripping through the defence. Yeah, I think up front is where it's gone down. Obviously, you've had your views on Cody McDonald. People have got their own views on Cody McDonald. Yeah. What have you made of who he's brought in up front? Because they've all shown glimpses, haven't they?
I don't know, because I don't know if I like. I don't really. I'm not fancying Wilkinson a lot. I just think he's a bit lazy and slow, really.
Yeah, I'd agree with lazy. Yeah. Yeah,
and with Tom Eaves, I know he scored a hat trick, but I wouldn't be surprised if he only scores 2 more after that, because I just don't think he's good enough, to be honest.
I think Eaves, it's an ugly style that you have to play to suit him, and if you do play it, it's gonna get a few goals, but that's not necessarily the way you want to play. But in terms of a certain, probably one of the brightest sparks of Gillingham transfer window, Liam Nash, has come in, done all right. Hopefully, he gets his chances. Decent signing, that, isn't it?
I think it's been like one of my more favourite signings. I think he's got really quick feet, good skills. works so hard, and he's one of my. I really like him.
Yeah. So hopefully, Gillingham can stay up this season. Do you think? Reckon they will?
I'd like to hope so.
Yeah. Well, we will see. Hopefully we can stay up. So yeah, I think that brings an end to the podcast. It's been a long one, our longest one yet. I hope you did enjoy. Ibs, thank you very much for coming, of course. Where can people find more of you?
Yeah, of course you can find me on White Lines F1. That's basically a dedicated F1 channel, similar to this, but a different sport, of course. So, but largely the same thing. So podcast, race, analysis, and so on.
Lewis, where can people find more of you?
On my Twitter at GFC Louis. I'm going to say it like that because don't really want to. It's basically it's spelled Louis but pronounced Lewis.
I feel like you have to explain that every time you come on.
I needed Lewis to explain that to me when we first came on. I was like, alright, how do I say the name?
I didn't have a clue myself. I think I called him Louis about 5 times, even though he told me it was Louis. Finally, Ash, thank you for coming on. Where can people find more of you? You're back on Twitter. I feel like your third time.
I come back on yesterday after a bit of time off, yeah.
Do you want to drop the username?
Yeah, it's King Ash 1994.
Nice one. Very good footballing opinions over there. I am at LRC Browning, and be sure to follow at Wildlands Media on Instagram and Twitter. Follow all the links in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment down below. And finally, I'd like to give a shout out to Justin Edinburgh, who was today sacked by Northampton prick. Anyway, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.